What is up, guys? Welcome to TWA Motorsports. My name is Travis, and today, oh my gosh, it's one of those days, guys, where I feel like I just don't want to really do anything. I just don't. I'm not real motivated, but there's something I've needed to do for a while. Now, I've talked about getting rid of the Buick, and that's going to happen. Hello, neighbor's dog. This is my neighbor's dog, Max. He's hanging out with me, I guess. He's probably over here looking for some food. Anyway, we are going to be taking out the radio from the Buick. Now, when I originally bought this Buick, I had a truck before, I had a double din radio in it, and so I just slid that radio into the Buick. And now that I'm thinking about selling this, and I'm saying thinking about it, it's going to get sold, and it's so gross right now. I've been driving it through salt and snow, and I'm sure that, well, I haven't, my wife has, and the interior's so gross. Oh my gosh, this makes me mad to get in here. Anyway, I don't want to be mad. We need to get the old radio out. And so today I'm going to show you the process of taking a radio out of a Buick. It's relatively simple. It doesn't take a lot of tools. And so that's what we're going to do. The very first thing we need to do, guys, though, is we need to get this bezel off. Now, what I tend to use, let's see if I can reach it back here, is a set of panel tools. Now, if you guys don't have a set of panel tools, you really need to get a set because it keeps you from screwing up anything that you might normally screw up with a set of, or like a pair of pliers or a flathead screwdriver. Just allows you to reach in these areas. And so that's what we need to do. We need to pop this out because that gives us access to the actual unit itself. So I'm going to grab, let's see here, probably something pretty thin, maybe this guy. So what we need to do is we need to find an area we can get behind. And this area up top seems to be the best. I say that, and now it's making a liar out of me. There we go, we got behind it. Go around the outside, and once we get it started, you can take it out by hand. It's just that normal Lego assembly that GMs are all commonly known for. That is not how I planned that, guys. So once we get that out of the way, there are just 4 7mm screws that we need to take out, and then we'll have access to the back side of the radio. So I've got my 7mm here, and we're just going to go ahead and take these out. Now normally, guys, I would use my cordless impact, but for some reason the battery was dead. I guess I didn't set it on the charger. No big deal. These aren't very long threaded bolts. Not a whole lot holds this thing in. And once we get all of these out, then we should have access to the back of the radio to unplug everything. Now this car does have steering wheel controls. So what I did was I used the truck that I got this out of had the exact same harness. And what I'm hoping is I can use some of this anyway to mount into my Tahoe. I'm not sure I'm going to use this same radio. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to use this same radio, but if I can use some of the mounting hardware and maybe some of the wiring, I will. I just don't think I will be able to because my Tahoe has bows and this does not, but I think the truck I had before did. So maybe I'll get lucky and the wiring will be the same. But once we get this loose, oh man, I'm gonna have to loosen up the 2 more down below because the AC or the HVAC controls do have to come out. And these are all the same, guys, so if you get them mixed up, it's not a big deal. I'd already be done if I used my cordless impact. So we got those all out. Now, this can slide back. Oh my goodness. There's one more. Didn't even see this one down here. So a total of 7. It's been a while since I put this radio in. So I've had this Buick for about 2.5 years. Great cars, guys. If you ever need something that's a great daily driver, a Buick is one of those. So not a whole lot here, guys. I didn't cut the factory harness, so we can just unplug everything that was plugged in normally. And I did run the microphone wire up to the top here. Obviously I'm going to thread that out, but the old radio is out, and I do have the factory radio to put back in. I'm just going to pull this out a little further. You guys can see in GM vehicles, the newer stuff uses a door chime built into your aftermarket harnesses. So like this speaker is to make the door chime, because the left door speaker actually is your chime, and it's built in from the factory. So if you just put a radio in and didn't use any of those pieces, you would end up not having any indicator noises. So I always like to keep stuff like this around. And then we also have, like I said, steering wheel controls on this car. So all we have to do, and I won't show you guys this, I'm going to unplug all these connections, and then I've got the factory radio here that we're just going to slide back into place. One thing I will tell you guys about taking stereo out, it is way easier to take it out than it is to put it in. I literally just took that microphone off and was able to just gently pull it out, and obviously threading it in was a little harder. It looks like this is cracked. I'm not going to worry about that. So all we need to do is on these older vehicles, or even most of the newer stuff, it has a GM proprietary plug for your antenna, and so that's what this guy was, is obviously to work with the aftermarket radio. All we have to do is plug these guys in, and they only plug in a certain way, guys. You can see they're shaped differently, so not a hard thing to do. And I will tell you that the harness that I took out, actually that isn't even it. The harness that I took out, I did solder all the connections, so I'm pretty picky about how I want my connections. I did solder all these, and I don't know, it's just one of those things that I'm kind of picky when I put stuff together. I want it done the correct way. I don't want any issues with losing connection and whatnot. But I'm going to plug this back in, and then we'll slide the radio back into place. So now that we have it all plugged in, we just need to slide this guy back into place. And what's nice is there is a tab that goes in the back. You can see it there in the center. That goes in that hole in the very back, and it fits up in there nice and easy. And then we are back with your HVAC controls, and we can start putting our screws back in. Now what I'm really hoping is GM likes to put locks on their radios, and I don't know that I necessarily know the lock code to this radio. So I'm hoping that once we key this thing up, that it doesn't have a lock code. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So make sure you get all 7 of these back in. If you forget this bottom one, I don't think it's an issue. I mean, I'm going to put it in because I have it, but not a huge issue if you maybe misplace one. I actually think that probably 2 or 3 on each of these would probably hold it in place. Now that we've got all of them in, other than the one I just dropped, we'll get them all tightened down, and then we'll snap the radio bezel back on. We now have got them all tightened down, and guys, this literally just snaps back in the same way it unsnapped. And sometimes you may have to move it around a little bit to get it to go where it needs to. And we are set. So now let's test it, and let's hope that it doesn't have a lock on it, because a lot of times they do. No lock. That is a good thing. So guys, relatively simple process, not something that's hard to do at all. And now that's just one less thing, and on a day where I'm feeling lazy and not like wanting to do anything, this is pretty simple. So guys, we are all finished up, and relatively easy process, to be honest with you, but I wanted to take that out because it's not something I was just going to let go with the car. It's something I could either sell or use in another vehicle down the road. I like to keep a couple radios and stuff like that around, as well as I might be able to use the wiring in the Tahoe out there. So that's kind of the reason I wanted to remove it anyway. I know I've been doing a lot of demodding lately with the SS and now the Buick, but hey, that's the only thing I'm taking off the Buick. The only other thing I really want to do to it is obviously we need to clean it, as I noticed when I got inside of it, but we also probably need to put some brakes on it before I list it for sale. But once my wife's SS is up and going, we are going to get that thing sold, and she's going to daily the SS. But it's finished, right? And on a day where you don't feel like working on anything, that's an easy project. And sometimes, guys, we got to do some easy projects because you just don't feel like doing anything else. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, guys, go down, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell icon, that way you're notified every time we put a new video up, and stay tuned to see what we mod or demod next.